Okay, YouTube, Facebook, we're back again with update number 3. And let's just get straight into the pictures. This is what I'm looking at right now. So 73.4 kilos this morning, or 73.6 while holding my phone. So right on track, down 2 solid kilos right now. Everything's going according to plan. Feeling pretty good and beginning to see more progress visually now as well. So beginning to see first hints of some striations in the middle of my chest and a little bit of it in my lower back as well. So the fat's coming off, but one of the funny things about losing fat is you become way more aware of how much fat you still have left to lose. So the chub around my lower back, that little bit of belly fat at the front there, still seems pretty obvious, and it really is the last to go, so it's about patience, it's about the long game there. But I'm happy with how everything's going so far. Energy still feels great, mood still feels great, workouts, everything's going in the right direction, and this is one of the benefits of not starting at too much of a deficit, easing yourself into it. You give yourself some runway to make it all the way to the finish line. Now, today I want to talk a little bit more about a subject that can cause some controversy, but there's really no need for it to, and that's the topic of healthy food, unhealthy food, clean food, junk food, and all of this. And one of the first things you have to do anytime you get into a discussion about something important is define your terms. So the first thing I want to talk about is what exactly do we mean by healthy food? Actually, before we get there, what do we mean by healthy? Now, the dictionary defines healthy using the word itself, so that's not terribly useful. It defines it as being in good health. But we can interpret that to mean feeling good, which is also pretty subjective. It also defines it as something that promotes good health. And it also defines it as being disease-free, which is a very broad and not very useful definition at all. So for the purposes of this discussion, I want to combine those definitions into something where we're talking about healthy as being a person who feels like they can do what they want physically, they don't have any limitations in their day-to-day activities, whether that's picking up their nephew or their son or their daughter, carrying the shopping, changing the bedclothes, going up and down the stairs, sleeping well, going to bed without worrying about things, waking up feeling refreshed, all of this stuff. It's going to be subjective. A lot of the time people feel good, but their blood work says otherwise. And a lot of the time people feel bad and their blood work says otherwise. So healthy is a loose term at best and not very useful. Now, healthy food, I think we can define a little more precisely if we think of it as whether it's beneficial or not beneficial. So the point I want to drive home today is that the food you're eating, unless it's poison, isn't healthy or unhealthy. The context is, and you are. It's not your food that's healthy or unhealthy, it's you. If you are eating 8 Big Macs a day and you're trying to lose weight, you are the unhealthy person, not the Big Macs. The problem isn't the Big Macs. The problem is that you are making bad decisions relentlessly over and over again. Now, decision making is what makes food good or bad for you. A good decision is to eat something that fits with your goals, and a bad decision is to eat something that doesn't fit with your goals. And so if we think about it in those terms, we can really understand how me posting up the fact that I had a McDonald's breakfast yesterday totally fits with the fact that I'm on a diet, because the macronutrients and the calories both fit within my goals for the day. I got all the nutrition I needed to feel good, have energy, and I was still on track to hit my weight target this morning. So from that perspective, my McDonald's was super healthy. Now here's the point. Part of a healthy diet is variety. If I ate nothing but McDonald's breakfasts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that would be unhealthy. Not because the individual foods are unhealthy, but because I would be missing out on a broad spectrum of nutrition. This is why people who eat nothing but chicken, broccoli, and rice are unhealthy, because they are missing out on vast swathes of nutrition, vitamins and minerals that they are not getting by ignoring whole other food groups. And no, you can't just replace these with vitamins. The problem with vitamins is the body doesn't absorb them as readily as it does from whole foods, fruits and vegetables, and meats and nuts and seeds. So this is where it comes down to choice, variety and decisions. Are you making the right decisions, and are you getting enough variety to ensure that you're getting a complement, a whole broad spectrum of all the different nutrition that you need? A lot of people hold up stuff like celery as a health food. I want to ask you two questions. First, if you ate nothing but celery, would you be healthy? Exactly. Second question, if you are starving on a desert island, and I first heard about this question from Lyle McDonald, if you're starving on a desert island and somebody gives you the offer of choosing one of two foods that are going to give you the energy you need to go and hunt something so that you don't die, which are you going to choose? They offer you celery and chocolate cake. Which is the healthier option in that context? Chocolate cake wins every time. I think chocolate cake wins every time against celery in general. The point is, the context there informs your decision. If you chose the celery in the desert island scenario, you're a fucking idiot. I can't make it any simpler than that, okay? You've got to eat according to your goals. You've got to eat according to the context of your day, according to the context of your week, your month, your year. You've got to have the notion that you're in this for life, right? This is why you can't drink a bottle of vodka every day, because your life's going to be shorter. But you can have a vodka Red Bull on a Friday. That's not a problem. So many people obsess and fuss and worry over the foods that they're eating that the foods are no longer the problem. The problem is right in here, and that's what it all comes down to, is the fact that if you are fretting, if you are worrying about what is in your food constantly, all the time, that is more unhealthy than having a Big Mac. If you are unable to go out for dinners with your friends, if you're unable to enjoy yourself, if you feel guilty when you have a glass of wine on a Friday night, then the problem is not the wine. The problem is that you have an unhealthy relationship with food and nutrition, and that's the thing you need to work on first. Cutting out whole food groups, beating yourself up over eating certain things is not the answer. And you will never achieve the results that you want until you come to terms with the fact that you are the person holding you back. I kind of had this realization the other day where everybody that is looking at food to blame, everybody that's saying it's sugar that makes you fat, it's fat that makes you fat, everybody that's saying it's all of this stuff they put in our food that's making you unhealthy, it's all a way of externalizing control and responsibility. And for you to actually achieve what you want, you can't have excuses like that. You can't lay the blame at anybody else's door. It's all your fault. If I fuck up on this diet, it's all my fault. It's not your fault. It's not Talia's fault. It's my fault. It's not the food I ate. It's the decisions I made. If I overeat, that has nothing to do with the food. That's me. The food doesn't just magically jump up and spring into my mouth. Although I'm sure sometimes it feels like that to some people. You have to have responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your actions. And you have to make your actions align with what you're telling me you want. I don't care. If you're really fat and you're really happy being fat, that's fine. That's your decision. It doesn't affect me in any way. Do I think that it's probably a bad decision? Yeah. But loads of people make decisions that I think are bad that are none of my business. But if you're coming to me and you're telling me I'm unhealthy and I know it and I need to make changes, and then you're pointing out, well, this is the cause and that's the cause, and this food has these chemicals in, and these foods were raised in a way that means it's unethical. All of that is a way of excusing yourself out of doing the work, out of putting in the necessary effort to get to where you want to be. It's got to stop. And here's why I care about this so much. We live in a time of unbelievable plenty, infinite opportunity, the very best health, nutrition, food that has ever existed in history for humans. People worry about poisons in their food now, but 1,000 years ago, people actually died from eating poisonous things because they didn't know what was good for them and not good for them. They had to guess whether or not those berries were okay to eat. They had to eat them anyway, even if they knew they were bad, because they had no other food to eat. We have unbelievable food. It's cheap, it's abundant. It's so cheap and abundant that obesity is a real problem. And that's just an incredible testament to human ingenuity, human progress, the ability to make something that was such a problem for so long meaningless to us living in the West, in countries like the UK, Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand. We just don't have to worry about things that plagued humanity. In the Paleolithic times, when your food could kill you in a variety of horrible ways, whether that's poison berries or animals that are going to fight back. We don't have to worry about that. We can eat for 1 or 2 pounds worth of food a meal. Everything you need for 1 or 2 pounds worth a meal if you're smart about your choices. And in the face of all of that opportunity, in the face of all that plenty, abundance, wonderful, amazing, healthy, safe, nutritious food that you don't have to worry about, you're still putting the blame elsewhere, anywhere else except with you. And it's really not fair to the farmers, to the people in the shops stacking the shelves, to the people working hard to make the food safe, and to the people putting out all the good information about what you can and can't eat. It's really not fair to any of them that you're blowing it. You're squandering that opportunity. You have the opportunity to live, if you're lucky, to your 80s or 90s in good health. And that's because of all of these advances. Make the most of it. You get one shot. Health is your ticket to a good life. That was quite a rant. It's just something that I really feel very strongly about. I see a lot of people, they get so mixed up. They cause themselves so much anguish because they're just worrying about their food so much, and it really doesn't have to be that way. If this is something that you struggle with, just please send me an email, and if you had some cake and you feel guilty about it, send me an email and I'm going to tell you, don't feel guilty. If that cake set you off track from your goals, I'm going to hold you accountable to that. I'm going to say eat the stuff that you need to eat, but it's your responsibility. Take control of yourself. Make the right decisions. Make yourself healthy. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe it and share it. If you think you know people that need to hear this message, let them know, and I will see you in the next update.